Look, most of you are being scammed by the very people who claim to be helping you plan your future. The financial industry wants you terrified. They want you working until you are 70 because that keeps your assets under their management for longer. Here's the deal. One of the most disappointing things in retirement planning is seeing people who retire when they are told is responsible only to find out after the fact that they could have retired years earlier. That is years of your life, years of your health, and years of your freedom traded for a number on a screen that you did not even need. I get it, the fear of running out of money is real, but the research I am going to show you today from Vanguard is so frustrating because it is built on a lie. Despite being well-intended, the way it is written can lead retirees to retire years later than they might need to and end up giving up some of their healthiest remaining years along the way. Oh shit, I remember when I first started, I thought I needed a mountain of cash. I was gambling on trash options and penny stocks because I thought the slow way would take 50 years, but I realized that wealth is not about having a giant pile of money. It is about cash flow and knowing your actual cost of living. So in today's video, I am going to walk you through that Vanguard research where I think their assumptions break down, and how to think about whether you really need to keep working or whether the target you are using is wrong in the first place. Now, Vanguard has this retirement paper called Target Date Strategies and Advice: The Impact of Saving and Spending Differences. This research points people towards thinking that they need to replace something like 75 to 85% of their pre-retirement income before they can safely retire. That sounds smart on paper, right? But let us look at the math. If you make $300,000 a year, this study says you need $237,000 a year in retirement. If you use the 4% rule, you would need a portfolio of nearly $6 million to retire. Do you know how many people actually have $6 million? Only 1.5% of households in the United States have $5 million or more in investable assets. This basically creates a crazy, unrealistic expectation. It is no wonder people are frustrated and feeling unable to retire or keeping on working beyond the age they would like to. The problem with Vanguard's research is not that replacement ratios are useless. The issue here is that replacement ratios don't actually account for what people really spend in real life. Most people spend way less once they stop trying to impress their neighbors or paying for a commute they hate. People end up thinking they need far larger portfolios than they actually do to support levels of spending they don't actually spend at. And then they spin their wheels building retirement plans that solve for the wrong number. They stay at a job that drains them. They watch a friend or coworker retire ahead of them and then think, well, I guess I am just behind. In plain English, broad retirement guidance like Vanguard's report can include a lot of good data and still miss the details that help you find your responsible retirement date. So, with all that said, if Vanguard's research is not what you should rely on for your retirement analysis, then the question is, what should you use? Let us look at a case study that illustrates a better way to find your retirement number. I am going to show you this in great detail. Let us use a 62-year-old couple. Before retirement, they make $300,000 per year. At 62, they have $2.5 million saved. They are currently spending about $179,000 per year right now. At full retirement age, their Social Security is projected to be about $52,000 per year once both husband and wife hit age 67. If we use the Vanguard-style replacement ratio, the answer looks pretty terrible. A 79% replacement rate means they need $237,000 a year. That points to a portfolio of almost $6 million. They currently have $2.5 million. If that is the target, they are not just a little short, they are a lifetime away. Even if they keep saving $55,000 a year and we assume a 7% growth rate, it will take them 11 years to get there. This couple here's, in effect, you can probably retire around age 73. This is where things stop being an academic debate and start being a tragedy. The natural reaction here is, okay, well, I guess we will keep working, or I guess we need to slash and burn our lifestyle to the ground. Both of those conclusions are extremely damaging, especially because the starting number was wrong. They are not spending $237,000 a year. They are spending $179,000 a year, and even that number is not permanent. About $40,000 of that spending will end up going away 4 years from now. When their youngest child finishes college, your expenses are not a flat line for 30 years. Your mortgage gets paid off, your kids move out, your need to save for retirement stops because you are in retirement. A broad research paper is not going to know that part of the spending is temporary. It is not going to know your exact Social Security amounts. It is not going to ask the practical question, which is, if markets get rough, are you willing to make some modest spending adjustments? When I run this same case through a spending-first model, the result changes everything. We layer in future Social Security, college expenses dropping off, and the fact that spending does not move in a straight line under that model. This couple is not 11 years away. They are actually 17 months away. Let that sink in. 11 years versus 17 months. That is nearly a decade of life reclaimed. Now, I want to be careful here. 17 months away does not mean there is no risk. It means they meet the retire-ready criteria. Their probability of success is over 65%. They have a lower guardrail of 28%, meaning if the market crashes, they only need to make a small 5% spending reduction to stay safe. The conclusion is not just retire because the software says so. The conclusion is that once we use the right inputs, we have a completely different decision. The Vanguard-style model would tell them to work 11 more years. The spending first model says you are close. Those 9.5 years are not some random theoretical exercise. Those are years where someone may keep working in a job where they are stressed out, unhealthy, or miserable. So, what do we use instead of generic numbers? Think of your retirement like a pie, and that pie is funded by a bunch of slices. Those slices do not all show up at the same time. They do not all get taxed the same way. The first slice is the spending need itself. How much do you actually need the withdrawals from your portfolio to fund? Current spending is not always permanent spending. The next step is looking at reliable income sources, like Social Security, rental income, or part-time work. The portfolio is not trying to recreate your entire paycheck. It is only trying to fund the gap between what you spend and what your other income sources cover. Then we look at where the money is. Is it in a taxable account, a pre-tax IRA, or a Roth? Two households can both have $2.5 million and still have very different retirement plans depending on where that money lives. Tax location is everything. If most of your money is in a taxable account versus a traditional 401k, your actual spending power is massively different. We try to determine how you can keep the most of that pie for yourself and give the least of it to the government. The next thing we do is pressure test timing. Real retirement spending is not a straight line, it is a smile. You spend more in the early years when you are healthy and want to travel, you spend less in the middle years when you slow down, and you might spend more at the end for healthcare. We don't want to guess on that. The last thing is flexibility. Retirement planning is not about running at 10 miles an hour forever without stopping. It is about knowing what trade-offs you are willing to make if the market is bad early on. Can you cut 5%? If the market is great, can you spend 10% more? Defining these adjustments ahead of time is what gives you the confidence to quit your job. That is a very different exercise than taking your income, multiplying it by 79%, and hoping for the best. My pushback on Vanguard is simple: do not let broad research make household-specific retirement decisions for you. Before you decide you need to work another 5, 8, or 10 years, make sure the number you are chasing is real. Make sure it is built on your actual spending, your tax location, and your flexibility. I have spent years obsessing over these numbers so you don't have to. I started with nothing and built a $120,000 portfolio by age 25 just by being disciplined and ignoring the noise. Now, I am scaling that to 7 figures by using the same logic I am sharing with you. I want you to imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning and realizing you don't have to go to work because your VO and SCHD dividends are already covering your breakfast, your rent, and your life. That is the feeling of absolute freedom. It is not about having $6 million, it is about having 100% control over your time. If you are 20 or 30 years old right now, the biggest asset you have is not your bank balance. It is the time you have left. Don't let Vanguard or any big bank convince you that you need to be a multimillionaire to be happy. Most people I know who have $10 million are still stressed because they don't have a plan. They just have a pile. You need a plan that understands your life is dynamic. You need to understand that your 20s and 30s are for aggressive growth, while your 40s and 50s are for securing that cash flow. I use a simple 70-20-10 split for my wealth building phase. 70% goes into VOU S&P 500 because I want to own the top 500 companies in the world. 20% goes into SHD because I love seeing those dividends hit my account every quarter. 10% goes into growth stocks or VUG because I still have a long horizon and can afford the volatility. This is how I went from $0 to $120,000 and how I am moving towards the next milestone. I am not doing anything fancy. I am just not being distracted by the latest crypto scam or the fear-mongering on the news. I am a partner in your wealth journey. I am here to tell you that you can do this. The system is rigged to keep you working, but the exits are everywhere if you know where to look. Stop looking at the $6 million target and start looking at your actual monthly burn. If you can cover your monthly burn with passive income, you are retired. Period. The rest is just extra credit. I want you to be the person who retires early and spends those healthy years doing what you love. Whether that is traveling, starting a passion project, or just spending time with family, do not let another decade slip away. Because of a flawed research paper, I am here to be your wealth partner. Your partner in this journey to freedom. Don't be a slave to a fake number. Stay sharp, stay free. If you want to see how we turn savings into a real paycheck, watch the next video on the screen. I break down the exact withdrawal strategies that will keep your taxes low and your income high. We talk about the Roth conversion ladder and how to access your 401k early without penalties. This is the hard technical stuff that makes the early retirement dream possible. Don't miss it, because that knowledge is the difference between working until 65 and being free at 45. Thank you as always for your time and attention. See you in the next video. Look at your current expenses right now and ask yourself what is actually essential. You will find that a lot of what you spend is just noise. Once you cut the noise, the mountain you have to climb becomes a small hill. Wealth is a game of psychology more than it is a game of math. If you can master your mind, you can master your money. Keep your expenses low. Keep your savings rate high and keep your eyes on the prize. The world is full of distractions, but your freedom is the only thing that matters. Every dollar you invest today is a soldier working for your future self. Don't let your soldiers die in a savings account earning 0.01%. Put them to work in the market. Let them capture the growth of human innovation. You are the CEO of your own life. Start acting like it. I believe in you. The numbers believe in you. And the history of the market believes in you. Go out there and claim your time back. It belongs to you, not your boss, and certainly not a Vanguard research paper. Stay cold, stay disciplined, and stay the course. Every week I will be here to remind you of what is possible when you ignore the herd. Wealth is a choice, and today you are choosing to be free. I am proud of you for making it to the end of this video. Most people have the attention span of a goldfish and will never build real wealth. But you are different. You are a builder. See you on the other side of financial freedom. Keep pushing, keep growing, and never settle for a life of mediocrity. Your future self will thank you for the work you are doing today. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single VU share. Buy it, hold it, and watch your life change. It is simpler than they want you to believe, and it is closer than you think. Good luck and stay focused. Peace out.